Hi guys, I just wanted to speak to you today about the 3 types of fatigue. And this is something that we have touched on already in a previous video. And I know it went down really well with all of you. So I wanted to expand on it a little bit. Why are you tired all the time? So many people just say, oh, you're doing too much. That's not the answer. There is always a deeper reason. And when you start dealing with these deeper reasons and when you start clearing them through, this is when you not only master yourself, your mindset and your life, you also master your internal world. And this is key because everything we hold on the inside manifests on the outside. So if we are feeling tired, run down, overwhelmed, you can see that the world is never going to be abundant because the world knows we're not able to take on any more. And actually this becomes a subconscious block then to taking on more abundance, taking on more clients. We're actually subconsciously holding ourselves back from that because subconsciously we feel as though we can't take on anything else. So the 3 things I want to talk about are energetic fatigue, emotional or trauma related fatigue, which is cellular, and also mental fatigue. And I'm going to go into these a little bit more deeply. So the first one is energetic leaks. This is so important and it is something that I really don't hear a lot of people talk about. This is when your life force, your soul, your energy force is being siphoned off without you even realizing. This could look like poor boundaries, saying yes when you mean no, environments that deplete you, or carrying other people's energy. I know this firsthand because I always used to do this. And it was such a massive learning curve for me to be able to move from being a single parent responsible for absolutely everything. When you've done that for an extended period of time, you get into the habit and you get into the cycle of doing this. And I can tell you now, this is one of the biggest reasons why people feel exhausted. Your energy is leaking. If you can sit with yourself and imagine being with a friend or with a person that you know, that when you come away from that meeting or when you've been out for a coffee or whatever with this person, you come away and you feel full. These are the people that your body is screaming to be around. And I know that everybody can think about somebody that they have been around and they come away and they feel absolutely drained. Sometimes it might be really subtle, but an exercise that I always used to go through is every time I went for a coffee or lunch or whatever, or met up with someone, when I got in the car to leave on the way back, I used to check in with my body and go, how do I feel right now? And it would really, really shock you to understand and to really sit with the emotions that you feel after you've been around people. There are really overt people that will be draining your energy. They're very consciously draining your energy, but it's the covert ones you have to look for. And every time you're there, you feel like you have to carry them. You feel like they emotionally dump on you. All of these things you might think, oh, they're going through a hard time, or, but when it is all the time, when your whole relationship dynamic is somebody emotionally dumping on you, or somebody being very needy, or somebody talking about themselves all the time, when that is the whole dynamic, it gets very, very tiresome. And you have to be very, very careful with your energetic boundaries. There's loads of things you can do. You can do protection, you can wear crystals, there's a million and one. It's different for everybody. But it is really important to be mindful of your energetic leaks. Sometimes an email might drop in and you might think, that's an energetic leak. You are not standing in your whole self. You are not standing within your own confidence. You're not standing within your own feminine power. You're feeling very disempowered in that moment for whatever reason. It could be a difficult client. It could be that you've got something life admin to deal with that you don't really want to deal with. We all have experiences that aren't very pleasant. But if you imagine your energy in that time, every single time you step outside of that power, you are leaking your energy. So often this will feel like constant exhaustion. Even when you rest, it doesn't feel like you're getting your energy back. You might be really sensitive in public situations. You might find that going out for drinks or going out into bars and restaurants are physically very draining. You don't have the stamina to be able to withstand that kind of social environment. That's a massive key shift. That's a massive key some feedback to tell you that you have got some energetic leaks and that people are leeching off your energy. Fix this. Just really think about your energetic hygiene, your boundaries, making sure you say no. Don't feel guilty for reclaiming your time. Make sure you've got your space decluttered, and do some practices that protect your energy field, and spend more time with people that fill you up, because when you're filling other people up and they fill you up, everybody wins. The second one is emotional or trauma fatigue, and this is something more related to your nervous system. This is when old wounds, unresolved grief, unprocessed trauma, they're still active within your body. And how it was explained to me when I did all my trauma processing work is, imagine pushing a beach ball under the water, and you're holding it down, you're holding it down, you're holding it down, and eventually you get so exhausted trying to hold down the beach ball that everything comes flying out. And that's a bit of an analogy for this type of fatigue. It's when you're holding everything down so that you can carry on with your life, and then things just blow up because you can't hold down the beach ball anymore. This is when you feel like you have to hold it all together, but all of your energy is being spent holding. It isn't being spent working on things that you love, seeing friends that you want to be with. You are exhausted because you're holding everything into that box. You might wake up tired, you might feel heavy or numb. The thing is about a human emotion, you cannot suppress and numb one emotion. If you're holding down the beach ball, it's not like you can leave a certain colour at the top. All of the colours get pushed under the water. It doesn't matter how hard you try to only suppress the sad and bad emotions, unfortunately you suppress the good ones too. So when you're suppressing anything, you are suppressing joy, you are suppressing anger, and you are suppressing grief, because you can't do one without the other. So it's really important that if you're numb, if you're overreacting to small stressors, if you're looping round in the same patterns over and over again, these are messages to tell you that you need to regulate your nervous system. Processing and releasing old emotions, they are stuck in the cells in your body. They are stuck in your nervous system. So working with a trauma-informed therapist or trauma-informed coach in a space supportive environment will help you to release those for good so that they're not holding you back anymore. The third one is mental fatigue. This is when you are totally overloaded in your mind. It's the exhaustion that comes from constantly living with your thoughts going round and round in your mind. Often we get decision fatigue. I didn't know what this was until we renovated the narrowboat, and I remember thinking, I cannot make one more decision. I cannot think and learn one more thing. I'm just full. And someone told me about decision fatigue, and it was like a bulb went on. I was like, oh my God, that's what I'm having right now. You have to analyse everything. You never switch off. You can't sleep, or you can't get to sleep, because your mind is constantly going round. It might feel like brain fog, it might feel like lack of clarity, you might procrastinate, you might have trouble focusing, you might spin in circles instead of moving forward. The fix to this is mental decluttering. You have got to reduce the input. So there are going to be 1,000,001 decisions and things we have to deal with in a day. That is part of our culture and part of our society. But there are things that you can do to reduce this. Obviously, you can do things like getting a VA. But one of the most important things that I've personally found is that when I work with my natural rhythms and my natural cycles, I used to beat myself up. I used to beat myself up for having, a week, a month or whatever, where I was looking inwards more, where I was doing more journaling, where I was planning my business more. And then I'd have weeks of the month where I would absolutely smash it. I'm going out to networking events, I'm doing public speaking events. And I used to think, oh my God, if I could do this 4 weeks of the year, I would be flying. I would be so much more forward. But the point is, it isn't about pushing it and smashing it 30 days of the month. We aren't built that way. And as soon as we start understanding that our natural rhythms are here for a reason, and as soon as we start working with them, it becomes a lot easier for us to reduce that mental fatigue, because you're not fighting against yourself. As soon as you start working with yourself and with the rhythms of the universe and the moon cycles and all of the other energy cycles that we have going on, this is when the guilt disappears. I don't feel guilty about working to being a woman. I don't feel guilty about that anymore. We can start creating space for that focus. If we're having a week, a month where we need to sit quietly and we need to work from home, we're not doing nothing in that time. we might be reassessing our content. We might be building a new product or a new service. That cannot work outwardly until we have done the inward work first. So just start aligning your diary to when you start feeling like this. Start tracking your cycle, and you will start seeing repeating patterns of when you feel better and when you feel more like you want to be outward in the world. So I try and book my meetings for those times of the month when I'm feeling like I need to get out and about. And when I'm feeling like I want to be more reflective, I would work more at home. So just to recap, if you are feeling exhausted, changing your outward life is great, but it is not 100% the answer. Dealing with overgiving, dealing with your unprocessed emotions and unprocessed stress. There's also, environmental and food mismatches that can be worked on, and really aligning your choices and aligning your workload with living in sync with who you are. So I hope this helps. If you enjoyed it, I'd love to hear some more from you in the comments. This is all part of my self-mastery series. So if this is something that you would love to work on, if you would be loving to do the deeper work, then absolutely get in touch with me. I would love to tell you more about that. And I hope that helps. See you again soon.